Hey, same old G. This is another review, another game review that I'm gonna do. Today it's about Torchbearer RPG, again from Burning Wheel Headquarters, and it's I'm gonna do it just the same way I've been doing those reviews like I did for Burning Wheel. I'm gonna start by talking about the book, and then I'm gonna talk about the game. So this is, it's a gorgeous book. Obviously, with the golden letter. I don't know if you can see it by the light, golden letter like that. And I like the design, the artwork. It's really, again, it's a really old school game, old school look to it. And there's many reasons for that. Torchbearer is an RPG that has been promoted as a tribute, to old school D&D and stuff like that. So I guess they wanted to reproduce that in the artwork. Inside, it's really old school. It looks a lot like Burning Wheel. It has the same kind of approach to it. You see these little things here, and the way the layout is done, it's really similar. Same kind of paper as well, really thin and fun in the between the fingers. But yeah, not a lot of pictures, not a lot of artwork. Just the artwork is, I love it. It's great, but it's really minimalist in that sense. There's a lot of text, looks like that. And you get it through. You go through these things, charts, lots of charts. Again, these games, this is the aesthetic. This is the way they present things and mechanic. There's tables, there's charts, and there is in this particular one you have a lot of random tables like that, especially in the town phase. So there you go. It's really similar to Burning Wheel. That's the kind of aesthetic, but it is easier to get into than Burning Wheel Gold in terms of the book, because there's less pages. It's written in a different kind of I don't know how you guys, typo. I would say it's kind of bigger. It's easier to read than Burning Wheel mostly. That's how I found it. But it's well written, just like the same kind of narration. The same kind of approach to describing the game as you move along through the rules, and I like that. So yeah, I would say I'm kind of happy with the book in itself. And it's I like how it's short, and it's not the same game. It's based on the same principles and design, but it's not the same it's not the same system. It's kind of like another iteration, version 3.0 or 4.0 maybe, and it's so that goes a long way in how the book is, because it's kind of easier to put that game on paper, I guess, than Burning Wheel, because Burning Wheel goes in all kinds of directions all the time. This one is pretty straightforward, well organized in the system, so it shows in the book. One thing though, concerning the book in itself, and in regard to playing the game, it's not sufficient. I don't think it's sufficient to have a good session using only the book. They sorry, they produce some game aids, like cards and GM screen that I will review down the road, and they are necessary. I feel. I mean, there's so many things to track in this game using only the book. I never really liked searching in that book. It's really not the same thing as searching in the Burning Wheel Gold book. Looking in those rules and looking in the book for stuff, it's not easy. Not in that book. I don't, depends on the people. I'm not a. But one thing is cool though, is that everything you need is in the on the GM screen and on the cards, which that when you have the game aids, you don't look much in the book. So that's something to consider, you know, describing this. On the other note, though, I don't know if you noticed those little white dots here, and there, and on the back here. It kind of loses its color really fast, and I barely used it, and I take good care of it, but it loses its color somehow. So, but anyway, now the game in itself. What is this game about? This game is about survival and exploration. I would say it's kind of trivial, since you know most Burning Wheel game and most RPGs are that way. But I would say survival first thing first, because if you ask the question is like, what's this game about and how it does it, the whole idea of how it does it turns around survival. So what they wanted to do, it's designed, I'm sorry, I forgot to mention it, it's designed by Thor Labsrud, from Burning Wheel Headquarters, and so yeah, I wanted to put it out there, but because most people said it's designed by Luke Crane. The whole idea was, we want to take every element of traditional RPG, especially D&D, Moldvay edition, and that nobody uses, and make a game around that. So, you know, all the, you know, light sources and food and eating and drinking and encumbrance, and calculating the weight of the stuff you have, and keep track of all these things toward adventuring. So a lot of people, you know, traditionally in RPG, they go around that. They don't eat, they don't drink, they don't sleep much. They kind of house rule that. But a lot of games have specific rules for that, and most people just don't use it. So in a way, they did a. I don't know how to say it in English, but it's like a tour de force. It's like they said, okay, most people don't like these rules. They go around it, they house rule it. Let's make a game about that, about these rules. And that the whole idea turns, the whole structure of the system turns around the stuff you need to survive in dungeon. It's a dungeon crawl game. It's made to do that, and it's not called Torchbearer for no reason. It's really important. They sold the game, they promote the game like that. And that's what it does, and it does it very well. If you're trying to do something else with it, it's not really possible. You know, it's a tight system, and there's all kinds of steps in it, and you need to go through the motion. But the result is, I think the result is rewarding. I don't have much experience with it as I have with Burning Wheel, but I played a little bit, so I have a feel of it, and I'm gonna do the review just based on that first impression I have. So what you need to do in this game is you create a character. First thing the book tells you is the character is a scum of the earth. It's not a noble. He has no money. He has no reputation whatsoever. He's not necessarily strong, but he's an adventurer, and he somehow he's gonna have to do something in a dungeon to get some money, to get some reputation, and to get better at that. So, you know, classic premise from old D&D. And then you go through character creation, which is easy. It's probably one of the most. I really like the character creation in this book. It's super structured. You don't, you know, if you want to do a ranger, you do an elf. If you want to do a priest, you do a human. If you want to do you have the dwarven adventurer. You know, you don't have classes and stuff like that. You have the races, but the races have like classes that are linked to them. And so you do so you create this guy, and you don't have much agency, I would say, in creating it. You have some. It's really fun. It's like if I go at the character creation page, you sorry, what you do is that you answer a bunch of questions, and by answering those questions, you end up having a character. And he's gonna have all kinds of traits and stuff, and he's gonna have all kinds of so where is your home, you know, and then you choose where he's from. Depending on where he's from, he's gonna get the skills related to that and the traits. So it's a really structured character creation, but it's fun and it's fast. You know, this is why I was asking the question in my first impression video, like, I mean, are they meant to be expendable? Because you can die fast in this game, or you can be unplayable to a point where you just wish you can do another character, kind of thing. So it's that's to be considered. And so there you go. You create that guy. It's fast and it's easy. It takes like 15 minutes, and then you just read through the couple pages and you got it. And then you go on adventure. So the whole game is divided by phases. I described them in some other video, and then the whole thing is resource management. You have to keep track of all the resources at your disposition, food and light especially, and to go against adversity. And the one thing that I really like with this game, it's also based on Mouse Guard. It has some element from Mouse Guard and some Burning Wheel. But what I like from this game is that you need to hinder yourself to get the currency that you need to move forward. And that creates this kind of paradox where you need to choose the player. That's really nice. It's like you get to choose where you hinder yourself in order to get the checks. They call it the checks. That's the currency in the game, the most important currency. You get those checks that makes you heal, that makes you buy for stuff, that makes you help one another in the camp phase and stuff like that. So you so you get to choose, and you have to. You cannot just go like and just, I don't know how you say, power game, or just, you cannot just go on a positive, with a positive style of play where you just do stuff to help you out. You need to do stuff that's gonna bring you down if you want to be able to either help somebody else or help yourself. And this is the whole thing. So you go through those phases: adventure phase, the camp phase, the town phase, and then narrative is being created around that. And it's the thing that I want to see with this game, because it looks a little bit like really, it's really gamist. It's really technical in the sense of you need to keep track of those turns. You need to keep track of how long your light is gonna last and stuff like that, and make sure that you get you don't go too deep into the conditions and stuff. And this creates this little it's really mechanical experience, I would say. So you go through those things, and it's really it's more task resolution based than Burning Wheel, I would say. But I need more experience with it to make sure that it's not possible to do more conflict resolution in that sense. But sometimes there is a whole conflict mechanic in it, like it's called conflict, and that's what it does. But outside of that, it's really skill based. You do this, you do that, and then it's based on the idea of failing forward a lot. That you can play Burning Wheel that way as well. Is the idea that you don't necessarily doesn't get what you want from the stuff that happens to you. So so the GM is invited to either give you what you want but incorporate a condition or a twist and some stuff like that. So the question I'm asking is that I wonder how much of great narrative stories that can emerge from Torchbearer. I'm sure it's possible. I can see, but it's really different way to introduce a story. You start with the basic premise that there's something to be done somewhere in a dungeon. There is gonna be treasure and fame out of that, and you have the belief of the characters in your on your sheet and in the party as well, and those belief needs and you can change belief in the course of play as well by doing stuff and stuff that happens to you. But the stuff that happens is that I think the story is going to be driven by those beliefs that's going to be changed along the way according to the type of adversity you're going to have, and create those relationships between the character. If you help me, I might like you, we might become friends, because you're not necessarily friend at the beginning, and all these, you know, and all these kind of interaction. I think the story emerges from the adversity linked between the belief you got and the stuff you're trying to do, and when you come back to town. This is important. When you come back to town and when you do the winter phase, you start to tell stories about your character, especially in the winter phase. And by starting to tell those stories of great deeds and stuff, this is where the narrative shines, and this is how you get a sense of a metaplot, or if I might say, or a bigger story. Otherwise, it's dungeon crawling. Now, I think that this game, if you want to have some fun for a couple of sessions, let's go in a dungeon and let's just, you know, kick some monster and stuff. It does it well. If you want to create this epic magnitude story of politics and stuff, I would use something else for sure. So yes, you know, I don't have much experience with it, so I don't want to talk too much about it. But just to summarize, I would say, cool game, does what it does it well. It's hard to play just with the books, just with the book here. You want the game aids, because you're gonna end up thinking more about your sheet and the turns than about the story and the roleplay. Otherwise, or unless you have like a brain that can do like many things at the same time. I don't know. One thing that is worth noting with Torchbearer and the culture around it is that on the Burning Wheel forum, there's a lot of people that's been creating, and Thor and Luke, they put out a template where you can create your own classes, you can create the stuff, and you follow the template. And if it's well balanced, and if you follow the how can I say, the system or the structure that the game proposed, you can create your own classes and stuff, kind of easy. You know, it's not hard to do, and there's a lot of stuff that has been fan made out there, and they are great. They all really good. And there's another game designer named Jarvis Ranson that has been putting a lot of work into creating those kind of classes and stuff for Torchbearer, and it's all free online and official. So yeah, I think it has a lot of potential. It's not new anymore, but it's still kind of young. It's not that old. So I want to see what's coming. The game is presented at the beginning as level 1 to 5. I don't know if you can see it here. Level 1 to 5. So I guess, you know, it's gonna there's another book that's gonna come out, you know, maybe with 5 to 10, or that's gonna fill the blanks from that one. Alright, thank you for watching. For more Torchbearer rules and stuff, go on the playlist. There's some stuff out there, and I'm gonna bring some more video to that playlist the more I play the game. Thank you for watching. Talk to you soon.